Hi,
Hi,
I'm Orna Walters,
and I'm Matthew Walters.
and we want to share with you today a few tips for how to communicate with your partner when emotions are heated. So, one of the first things that I would like to address is when Matthew and I are having some kind of conflict or disagreement, that when we do talk, I don't have my arms crossed. You know, my tendency would be to shut off from him and to close off, and instead I make a point of keeping everything uncrossed, and so that I can remain open to him.
Yeah, it's always nice to be able to be open to that other person and letting them know physically that you're open as well. One of the other tips that we really like is how to communicate what you're feeling to your partner in a way that isn't aggressive, that isn't accusing, that isn't putting them on the defensive. So there's a nice little sort of phrase that we like, and you just fill in the blanks. So it goes like this. It's pretty simple. I feel blank when you blank. Can we fill in the blank and offer a solution to your problem? So by saying I feel first, you are claiming responsibility for your feelings. You're not putting them on somebody else. You're not saying you make me feel this way, right? Because we don't ever want to, give our power up in that way. We're the ones who are in control of our own feelings. So when you say I feel, you're owning your feelings. And then when you say when you put it into context so the other person has an understanding about what's going on and what's triggering you to feel that way. And then the can we is a way of offering a solution, maybe opening up a dialogue, maybe can we talk about this, can we find a new way to communicate. It's a way of offering up a solution to sort of start that dialogue.
And sometimes the can we is a really great place to work from, but sometimes you want to offer a solution that says can you. So you're asking your partner to do something. So for example, I might say something to Matthew like, I feel neglected when you don't take out the garbage. Would you please make an effort to notice when the garbage is full all on your own and take the garbage out?
Sure.
And so that way I'm expressing how I feel, and then I'm also offering a solution so that I won't be feeling that way. And I think that sometimes people think something is too small to bring up. And one of the things that Matthew and I like to say, if we use the analogy of a sink, right, you want to keep the sink clean. So even one dish in that sink, if there's something that's bothering me, I want to bring it up to Matthew. I don't want to hold on to it until there's a bunch of dishes in the sink. Dishes in the sink.
Exactly.
So I want to clean as I go, and then that way we're always having clean communication, and I don't have to lump a whole bunch of things together when we finally, have something to discuss.
And then there isn't that emotional buildup that leads to the big explosion. Why do you always do this, right? Because you've been holding on to those emotions for so long until you feel like, oh, I just can't hold on to it anymore. You want to let it out so the steam never builds up. So there's never that big explosion.
So it's, sometimes people ask us, since we are, we are the power couple. I've had a lot of people ask me, do you fight? And I always laugh at that. Of course. I mean, of course we have disagreements. Anybody who's working even in the couples arena, as a couple would say that they don't fight is not telling the truth. So we want to be completely honest with you and say, we do often. I mean, sometimes fight. It happens. And when it's a really big thing that comes up, one of the tools that we really like to use is we'll say, can we talk about that? And we go to the couch and say, one of us will speak until they actually say the words, I'm done. And then it's the other person's turn to speak until they say, I'm done. And utilizing this technique along with the I feel when you, can we please, is really, really powerful so that you can have clear communication. And what's really important here is to understand that the goal is to have authentic communication. Because when you yourself honor how you feel and you come from an authentic place, you're actually opening the door for your partner to meet you at that level of authenticity. And what's really cool is you don't have to agree, but if you're both authentic and coming from that space, magic will happen. And you'll have real intimacy and communication, which is what we really want in a relationship.
Yeah. And the key in this second tip, where one person speaks until they're done and then the other person speaks until they're done, is to resist the urge to jump in and maybe defend yourself, or maybe jump in and try to change the facts, or maybe jump in and throw in your viewpoint. It's really, the key is to just sit and listen and let them say what they need to say, and hold back on all those thoughts. And then when it's your turn, you get to say everything you feel like you need to say. And then this way, everybody gets to feel like they get to speak and they get to be heard, and nobody's cutting the other person off and shutting them down.
And it does take practice. I will admit, it takes practice to speak until, to not jump in and say something. And I will say, because I am generally the more verbal between the two of us, and that generally when we go to speak, ladies, I'm just letting you know, if you're the one who's more gregarious, more outgoing, the more extrovert in the couple, I do lean back a bit. And I would say every time that this has happened, I will let Matthew speak first. I give him that, because I want to lean back and hear what's really going on with him. And I found that when I really listen to him, he's always looking out for our best interest and for my best interest. And we're just having a conflict over some miscommunication. So I really lean back and allow him to speak first.
Great. So we hope you enjoyed these tips. You can always check out more about what we do at creatingloveonpurpose.com.
Remember to put the creating in there. So it's creatingloveonpurpose.com. And if you go there, the top menu bar has a whole bunch of free articles for you. You can just check out what we do in our blog, and feel free to post some comments or questions if you have some.
And we look forward to seeing you there. So I'm Matthew.
And I'm Orna.
Bye.